Welcome back to Building Applications with Minstack. In this session, we shall be focusing on REST APIs, where we shall use ExpressJS to build them. We shall also focus on nested fetching. We shall also focus on communicating between the client and the server. By this I mean if you have your simple form or your Angular form, you can be able to post your data, submit your data to the server. We should have designed our API that should be able to receive this data, give the server to manipulate, and then store in the database, and be able to give a user ID that we have actually saved. Using this user ID, the user should also be able to request the server to actually give him back the user object that they've just saved. Our logic and queries will actually be focused on red blood cells compatibility table, so that we don't write queries that actually don't give right results. If we can move right into it, designing an API, all you need to do is have ExpressJS imported, and then open an instance of ExpressJS in the function that we are returning and we're exporting to the general modules. After that, call one of the methods called get, and here we shall give it the default API, which will be echoing back hello world. We shall also define one whereby when you request for user and you pass the user ID, you should be able to pick the user ID from the request parameter and be able to do something with it. In this case, we're actually just creating a string and giving back that string to the user. If we can run this just to check out on the browser, all we need to do is node index.js, and should be able to echo for us listening at port 3000. You might ask me, how did it even run? We're running index.js. All you need to do is actually to start the server, open the ExpressJS, import the ExpressJS, and right away start the server. And you're going to give it the use to use actually the API that you've defined. As you can see, we've given the path to the API. So we've added something unique here. I'm going to explain about what we've just added here. This is good for versioning of APIs. If we come here and refresh this, it's supposed to tell us, we're actually supposed to see hello world. But in this case, it's telling us cannot get the slash API. This is because we said we added the versioning API. So we are going to add API version 1. And that should be able to say hello world on the default what? On the default API, on the default slash. So if version 2 of this same API, all you need to say, we also need to pass it there, a second version 2, and it will be able to what? To show us the results of this version without changing the first version. This is very good for future use. If we can do some tests on this API that we've just designed, it will also be very good. So we shall stop our server. To run tests on this API, we're going to use super agent because it runs on the same thread to both open the server and listen, and at the same time be able to test the APIs that are on the server. To do this, import super agent. In the before method of the test, open the server so that it can start listening, and then later on, using super agent, let's open up test the get API, where we shall give it a return function, that is a callback function that will be returning the error in case of any error, and the results in case of the results. And then we shall be able to test for the results, checking the status that is actually okay. Okay is actually 200. Shall also be checking the text that it's returning, and that should be. After that, the parameter that we're actually passing here is the done parameter. We can come here and call the done function, and that is actually very interesting because it's going to stop our tests to our server that the test is actually over. So if we can run this to check out the output, all you need to do is mocha test.js, and if we run, it should take a few seconds. Perfect. It ran to the server, printed hello world, and then returned okay, the status was okay and everything passed. So if I can change that something small here, remember that in this test we're actually not using the versioning. We're setting the APIs just direct from the routes. We are not adding anything for it to use. If we added the versioning, then we should be testing here with the versioning. So we shall come here and let's change the word we expect to hello world. Let's run the API again. Let's run the test once again. As you can see, that one has failed. It is saying assertion quote unquote assertion error of hello world is equals to hello worlds. So the two words actually were not matching. So we shall be seeing more of this in the next sessions.